talking about what happened to you as a result of the story that was published,
Okay.
because you were one of the two insiders that I'm aware of that provided. And again, we're speaking to Debbie Bernal, an insider at Pfizer, who provided information to me and who went on stage with me 10 days ago and is now telling her story. And we're, on some new information here. People are very interested to hear from you. Um, was there a story published today that you had something to do with?
So these documents that they posted, they were not supposed to ever get posted. And if they were supposed to get posted,
Who's
I don't understand
who
why they were
posted what?
posted.
Who posted what?
Um, so here, let me pull it up. So I believe Project Veritas posted some documents about myocarditis and how uh, they were well aware that it was a side effect, and it was, I believe, in 2022. Now, this would have been a great story for when we did the interview, James, right? And, it could have been a great interview. It would have been great. It would have been detailed. We would have had, you know, everything we needed right in front of us. But like I said, something felt off. I felt like I was threatened. I was being recorded, as they thought I didn't notice, but I was definitely being recorded. So I couldn't come out and, you know, talk about this myself, unfortunately. But now that it's out there, um, yeah, myocarditis, pericarditis, it's they knew, they knew, um, and I think they admitted it when you released the video, James, of the Jordan Walker. So when that happened, you released that video the next morning. I was just curious, to be honest, to see if he was still employed. And, I just went on Teams and just looked him up just to see if he was online and see if he was still working, and he was. But 3 hours later, I was in a meeting, I was in a conference room, and someone starts, standing outside my door, and she just walks in and she tells me, "You need to get off the meeting. You need to answer. Someone's trying to reach you right now." And I look at her and I tell her, "I'm in a meeting right now." She tells me, "You need to get off that meeting." I'm like, "Okay, this is weird." So I go back to my cubicle. I answer the phone. It's the Pfizer relationship manager or whatever for my company. And they told me, "Hey, your contract with Pfizer is being terminated today. They're going to ask you for your badge and your laptop, so just give it back to them." And I asked him, "Well, what's going on? Like, what happened? Why is this happening? You want to give me a reason?" And he's like, "No, don't worry about it. Just finish your day, finish your work, and then just turn everything in." I'm like, "Okay." Get off the phone. The security person, asked me for the badge, the laptop. I give it to her. And she asked me to follow her back, to just follow her. And then she takes me to this locked security room. She has to enter a code. And I walk in and I'm like, "Okay, I know what's going on. This is going to be an interrogation." So she starts asking me, she's like, "Have you turned everything in? Everything that belongs to Pfizer?" I'm like, "Yeah, you just took my badge and my laptop." And then she asks me, "Well, what about on your computer laptop or your phone? Do you have anything that belongs to Pfizer?" And I said, "Well, I'm a consultant for you guys, so my responsibility is to make deliverables for you guys. It's my responsibility to make stuff for you guys. So, yeah, there's probably on my work laptop stuff that belongs to you guys." And she goes, "What about anything that could compromise someone's like identity? Were you looking anybody up?" And I was like, "Why? Is there someone that you guys don't want me looking up?" And she didn't answer. And then she starts asking me for my personal phone. Can I look over your phone? And I looked at her and I was like, "Do you want to look through my private phone?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's a company procedure to ask for Pfizer employees who are leaving that we look through their phone." And I called her out. I was like, you are lying to me. This is my personal phone. I'm not giving it to you. And I pretty much just start pulling the, you know what, ma'am, if you don't tell me what this is about, I'm going to need a lawyer. Or, you know what, if you want to keep asking me questions, would you mind if I started recording this conversation for my lawyer in the future? Then she got a little worried. I don't think she expected me to say that. I think she just expected me to be dumb and hand over my phone and just let her look through it. Oh, I forgot to mention, she then asked me, would you mind leaving your cell phone here at the facility overnight? And I was like, no, can I please leave? Like, I'm not going to give you my phone. I'm not going to give you my laptop either. I want to leave. Can I leave? And then she says, let me go ask. So she gets up, leaves me in the room. I'm freaking out. I'm, I want to cry. I'm shaking. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, okay, you know, this interrogation is the least of my concerns. I'm just concerned for my family at this point and my safety and whatnot. I'm like, okay. And then,
And just so we're aware, I just want to, I feel like the radio host that has to say what time it is. We're listening to Debbie Bernal from Pfizer. She's in the middle of a story about her journey to become a Pfizer whistleblower. Um, she's for those of you who've just joined, a few hundred people have joined. So you're hearing her live tell the world things that they've never heard before. This is citizen journalism in action. And she's at the point in her journey where, after corroborating or obtaining this, helping obtain the story on Walker, the guy who said he was mutating the virus, she's now being interrogated by corporate, and she's in the room there. So, Debbie, keep telling your story.
yeah, so I essentially tell her to kick rocks. I'm not handing you over my private phone. And so she leaves me in the room. I'm on the phone at this point uh, with my manager. She's asking me, well, were you looking at any financials? I'm like, no, not at all. Were you looking at, what were you looking at? Who were you talking to? This and that. And my manager wouldn't tell me, well, what are they specifically holding me here for? Because I don't know. I just want to leave. I just want to, go back to my hotel room because this is scary. First of all, like, why am I being held against my will? I already handed in my laptop, I already handed in my badge, and you guys aren't telling me why you guys are holding me in there. So eventually she comes back, she opens the door, and then she says, okay, you can leave. And I'm like, okay. And then I get up and I walk outside the room, and then I see my personal belongings scattered. My backpack is opened and all my stuff is scattered on this bench. And I even, like, there was some stuff that was on the floor too that fell from the bench, I assume. And I look at it and I look at her and I ask her, did you just touch my personal stuff without my permission? And she goes, I went to go grab your stuff. I look at her and I'm pretty upset. I look at her and I tell her, you do not touch my personal stuff without my permission. You like, what's going on here? And she's just like, kind of shrugs it off. And then I ask her for her name. I ask her, what's your position and what's your first and last name? And she gives it to me and I write it down. And then I just go back to my car. And now the IT guy who was working there, I feel so bad for him. Um, he observed all this, and he calls me after, like, I go back to my rental, and I pick up the phone because he's calling me. He's like, what's going on? What happened? And then I didn't want to get him in trouble or involved, because he's just there to work. He's just doing his job. He had nothing to do with anything. And I just told him, hey, I don't know. I think it's because we were, we saw that Project Veritas video, and it was on the on their Wi-Fi or whatever, so they probably just don't, like it that we're watching that video after it came out. And he's like, oh, well, I'm sorry, our time together got cut short. I hope you, good luck. And I'm like, okay. And then I get a message from him like a week later telling me that he got fired and that apparently they've been interrogating him too every day ever since I left, about me, asking what I've been doing there and this and that. I didn't ask him specifically what they asked about me, but he told me that they were interrogating and kept asking about me and what I was doing. And he didn't know, so obviously he said, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't have, I don't have a clue. And then they just said, all right, you're out. They fired him. And the poor guy, like, he's from Nigeria. He was a really smart guy, and he lost his job over this, and he had nothing to do with it. So it just goes to show, you know, I thought that was pretty evil. And then I drive home. I'm pretty disappointed that, you know, I pretty much know I'm fired at this point. I get back to my hotel. I try to log on to my Teams account to, let my manager know what happened. I'm logged out. They completely logged me out of my Teams account. They locked me out of my computer. So I'm like, okay, I know what this means. So I just sleep over at the hotel, and then the
Now,
next
I know,
morning, I
Debbie, at this point in time in your journey, how many days was it after that story broke? A week? Like, where are we on the calendar? Because the story broke January 25th.
it is literally January 26th, like the morning of, the morning of.
Okay, and for everyone, I'm James O'Keefe. You're listening to Debbie Bernal, one of two Pfizer insiders responsible for the big Pfizer bombshell. And she is explaining now that she's been locked out of her accounts. It's January 26th. Debbie, continue.
Yeah, so I go home. I don't really know what to tell my parents because I don't want to get them involved at all, so I just don't say anything. It's early in the morning, it's like 8 or something, and then I get a call from my company, and it's a lawyer, a corporate lawyer, and I think a human relations or public relations, I'm not sure, employer relations person. And they pretty much told me, hey, we heard about the situation with the client Pfizer, and we just need to investigate what happened. Can you run through your day with us? And I tell them, well, yeah, I woke up, I went to the facility, and I was working, and then I was interrogated and, placed in a locked room and had my stuff scattered, looked through, searched, and scattered all over. And yeah, and now you guys are asking me to tell you what happened. Why don't you guys tell me what's going on so we can talk about this a little more and how your client is treating your employees? Like, are you guys gonna really let this slide? Are you guys gonna let them treat your employees like that? I thought you guys cared about your employees since you guys preached about, oh, we care about the culture. Oh, we care about our employees, especially our Latinxes and our minorities and our women. Uh, that's a bunch of crap. Like, they pretend, I think it's so woke. They've destroyed business, honestly. And they're pretty much saying, well, it's your opinion that you think that we're siding with the client, but we really just want you to cooperate in this and that. And I pretty much tell them, I'm not going to cooperate with you guys because you guys clearly don't care about your employees. You guys just care about securing your multi-million dollar deals with, giant corporations such as, this one. Um, and they asked me if I knew Jordan Walker. And I told them no, that I did not personally know Jordan Walker. And then they asked me if I knew about,
And
they
Debbie,
called,
Debbie, Jordan Walker is the guy in the video that viewed
yes,
50 million times that
yes.
you helped. Uh, how would you characterize it?
Yeah,
Corroborate.
um, like I said, I'm gonna be careful with words here. Jordan, pretty much people were saying that Jordan Walker wasn't who he was saying he was, or that you were lying, James. They were trying to accuse you of lying, and I don't like it when people get gaslit. I don't like it when people lie or try to minimize a story that I know is true. So that's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, they asked me if I even looked him up, and I said, was I not supposed to look him up? And they didn't answer me that. And then they asked me if I knew of a Veritas, and I told them I don't know what a Veritas is. I think that's Latin for truth. And pretty much I just told them to kick rocks at this point. I was like, I'm not going to talk to you guys without a lawyer. And then they asked me, oh, here's the thing. They asked me, well, where are you right now? Are you still at your hotel room? I'm like, no. And then they're looking at, I guess, their screens, and they asked me, are you at this address? And I'm like, uh I might be, I might not be. And they're like, okay, well, someone's coming to your house in 20 minutes. And I'm like, what? 20 minutes? And who is coming? Who is coming? What for? what's going on? And they're like, they're coming. And by the way, give the man your
Who's
laptop.
saying this to you? What,
Yeah, my company, but I'm assuming that
which
this
company? What are you talking about?
the consulting firm that I work for.
The consulting firm
Yeah,
for Pfizer
yeah, yeah.
is sending someone to your home.
Yeah, and their excuse, this was their excuse. I think they were just trying to minimize it. We need to pick up your laptop. And I asked them, I was like, don't you guys normally send in a box that with like foam in it so you can, turn in the laptop and it doesn't get damaged? What, like, who sends a person to your
What day
house?
is this? Is this January
This is
27th?
this is the day out. Yes, yes. So the video came out the 25th. 26th is the interrogation, and then 27th, the guy is being sent to my house.
Well, on the night of the 26th, he's smashing the iPad in the Brooklyn pizzeria.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
so they're sending people to your home, and just sort of like move through the timeline here to present day, because I guess you called me today, or you called me after CPAC, and you were upset. So just sort of take the journey, because you fast forward to like sort of CPAC, we reconnect. I get thrown out of the organization I founded. Just sort of tell that story briefly, and then take us to present day.
Okay, yeah. So essentially, I get fired, or I know I'm getting fired, and I'm pretty much just, oh, it was devastating. As soon as he said someone's coming for you, my heart dropped. So I took my mom somewhere so I could just get out of the house because I was like, I don't know what they're gonna do to me. And I didn't want them to do anything to my mom either. She's like she survived cancer, like terminal cancer. God is good. She survived cancer, and I don't want to lose her again. And I'm like, Mom, we have to go. She's like, what's going on? I was like, Mom, no, come on. I'm gonna take you to the doctor. Like, come on, let me take you, please. And then I get a message from my dad, who just happened to go home at that time, and he tells me, "Hey, there's a red van parked outside our house, and he's not leaving." And I tell him, I'm like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "Yeah. Should I tell this guy to go away?" And I tell him, it's just if you need to, yeah, tell him that he needs to leave." Okay, so I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Pretty much eventually he just leaves. I think he knocked on the door, whatever, he leaves. And I'm gonna fast forward, or I try to contact, to get some help at this point, and I'm being assured here that, oh, you'll be okay. We've got your back. We'll take care of you. Your identity is gonna be protected. This and that. And then let's fast forward to today, um, where I just see something that I was promised that wasn't going to be revealed or um, shared, and that
What are you What are you talking about?
shared by
Project Veritas, yeah. Um, and to me, it was odd because that was a story that could have been shared a while ago. If they were gonna break their code of ethics or whatever and screw me over, they could have done it earlier, I guess. But I just
Are
find
you
it a
saying,
little weird.
um you're the source of those of that, or what do you mean?
Well, again, I'm gonna be careful with my words, but I was the um, I picked the coffee beans, so they were my coffee beans, and they were my coffee beans to share, if that makes sense. And I, was hoping that these coffee beans would be shared at the right time if I had decided to, keep going with it. But like I said, in Nashville, I felt something was off, and I just did not go with it. And but I was assured that these coffee beans would not be shared, but they were anyway, just recently. And it's weird because they promised me that they wouldn't. Um, but
and as a result here it seems like you've decided to break your own news here. So again, just kind of walk us through, I guess, what have you done? What have you posted here, and why?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm gonna be careful with my words. So because I was an employee, there was things that I saw, and there was some coffee beans that I found and that I went to share with James, and we had talked about it. There was a story building up about these companies knowing that myocarditis was a side effect. And I remember people getting censored on social media, me included, if you even mentioned anything about this vaccine causing heart problems or people falling down or people getting myocarditis, and that young males are the ones affected the most by it. So this information was given to James, and James, promised. I trusted James, and I still do. And then I guess it just got into the wrong hands when he was ousted, and I guess they try to take credit for it, and it's fine. I guess I'm just praying for them. I hope they change their ways and they, protect future whistleblowers, because you you work at this company, you see things that are bad, that are detrimental to someone